Is Congregation Beth Israel. It's not theater under the stars. We're so happy that you're here tonight to embark on a new year, which has been for all of us in previous months filled with angst and concern. We really are on the threshold of what should be a year filled with sweetness and joy and lots of hope. And we put our hope in a very fine member of our congregation, Miriam Kalman Friedman, who applied herself with creativity, artistry, and a dash of courage to bring together this marvelous program for us tonight. The truth is that when she brought it to me and I read it for the first time, the second time, the third time, I said, you have to do this. You have to bring it together and invite others in the congregation who would love to participate in it, and let us enjoy the handiwork of your creativity so that we can celebrate it, learn from it, be inspired by it, and prepare ourselves in head and heart and soul for what we hope will be a Shana Tava Umituka, truly a good and sweet year. So Miriam, from me to you, first of all, thank you. And I'd like to turn the microphone over to David Scott, our Director of Lifelong Learning and Engagement, and he'll give you the whole scope of our wonderful evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight.
Thank you, Rabbi. And thank you, Miriam. This is really a work of art that we're going to be enjoying together. And this is a night of questions that I'm sure we will have afterwards, a night of questions that will enter into our new year as we enjoy our Slichot service and our Slichot evening. From here, after the production, we'll have time to gather outside in the crossover space where we've put questions all over the room. And I hope that you'll take some time to look at the questions that Miriam has come up and written for us, that we will enjoy some conversation. And then at 9 p.m., we'll have a brief, before 9 p.m., we'll have a brief Havdalah ceremony in our Finger Chapel foyer, followed by our Slichot service at 9 p.m. in the Gordon Chapel. So with that, Miriam, please introduce all of us to Good Shabbos. Thank you, everyone.
This is so exciting, and thank you all for coming. I wrote Good Shabbos years ago as a 10-minute play for the kinds of short play festivals here in town. But I knew that with its theme and central ideas so cultural specific, it probably wouldn't be chosen for many festivals here in Houston. But we have a writer's circle here, and I submitted it to them, and they said, this play has to be put on at Beth Israel. And I said, well, Beth Israel doesn't do plays. And then we saw David actually right in the hallway at Minute, and we told him, and David said, I know this will surprise all of you who know him, David said, what do you mean? We're Beth Israel. We can do anything. Let me read the play. And he read it, and then Rabbi Lyon read it, and Rabbi Lyon said, well, you'll have to enlarge it because it was a 10-minute play. So I went home, and I got to work, and I enlarged it, and specifically to welcome Slichot tonight. So that's the story of the play. Sissy Siegel-Davis came on board with us, thanks to David. And we had Matthew Lawrence help us, an Alley Theater employee, help us with the collecting our cast. And we have a wonderful cast. And Cantor said he would agree to do the music directing. So here we are. And it's been a lot of fun and a lot of work. And it's too early for me to say Good Yontif, but I can say Good Shabbos.
I'm Sissy Siegel-Davis, and it is my privilege to welcome you to Good Shabbos. Everyone in our company, our little company, has worked very hard to bring Miriam's vision to life. Tonight, you are going to experience a staged reading. That means the actors will interact, and they'll perform the story with their scripts, utilizing minimal sets, props, costumes, and lighting. And as the narrator, I will be reading some stage directions to help set the scenes. You, the audience, get to use your imagination. We are delighted and honored that Cantor Kenneth Feibush has selected and is performing the music for us tonight. As the curtain rises, there's a dining table set with challah, a small vase of low flowers, Shabbat candles, a kiddush cup, and a bottle of kosher wine. Dinner plates and silverware are stacked up. The table is not yet set. There's a small buffet table or a side table as well. The front door is stage left, or on the right side as you are facing the stage. There's a bedroom door stage left, and there is one closet that, when opened, reveals some jackets or umbrellas, but is otherwise bare. And a kitchen is implied backstage. The play is set in Houston, Texas in 2024 on a Friday evening not long after the high holidays. The Solomon family is beginning to gather for Shabbat dinner as they have for many, many years. Adult son, Max Solomon, played by Nicholas Garelick, enters.
Mom, Dad, I'm here. Mom? Ooh, smells great as usual. Mom? Where is everyone? Dad?
Adult daughter, Esther Solomon Abrams, played by Liza Hirsch, peeks around the door on the opening stage left, wrapped in a towel.
Max, you're here.
Of course. Where's everyone?
No idea. The house was empty when I got here.
Esty, what are you doing, showering?
Water's out on my whole street.
Brisket, potatoes, meatballs, the usual Shabbat. Oh, wow, soup. She made soup.
Matzo ball? She always
No, lentil. Yum.
Don't put the spoon back in. Ugh. Did you already put the spoon back in?
You're so weird. What do you think I have, Ebola? Nobody worries about COVID anymore.
You put the spoon back in, didn't you? Mom hates that. You're disgusting. And lots of people still worry about COVID.
Germaphobes. Would you go put some clothes on? Oh, you're the disgusting one. Oh. Where's Mom?
I texted her. No reply.
Did you text Dad?
Esty exits to the bedroom.
I called, but it went to voicemail.
She re-enters. Now she's wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
He'll call you back.
Whatever. Let's set the table. They're bound to be here soon.
Esty starts putting plates around. Max grabs the silverware and places each piece carefully. They work quietly, looking expectantly, stage left, towards the front door.
I don't know. Something's rotten in the state of Denmark and all that.
That's a bad omen, Max. Why do you say that Hamlet stuff?
Lighten up, it's just a saying. But you know, Mom never made lentil soup before. She always makes matzo ball. Why would she suddenly switch to lentil?
Something different? A new recipe.
And then she's not even here. I just remember when my friend Alan went to Israel, he told me he went to a relative's shiva and they served lentil soup. He said in Israel, lentil soup is served in times of danger, illness, or death.
Interesting.
See? Something's rotten.
Oh, MG, what's up with all your morbid comments? Hamlet, now Chivas. You're a downer, casting a pall.
A Poller? Come on, drama queen.
Okay. Lentil soup and the usual brisket, potatoes, meatballs. So, what did she make for dessert?
I didn't see dessert. You know she always makes dessert. Where would she have put it?
He goes back into the kitchen and he calls out.
Not here. See? Something's rotten.
You know what? Just stop. Maybe she ran out of time. She probably went to pick something up.
A sound, a key in the door. They turn to listen. Father Scott Solomon, played by Mark Grossberg, enters stage left. He seems overly boisterous.
Good Shabbos, mein Kinder. Mein schöner Punums. Oh, good Shabbos.
Why are you speaking Yiddish?
And why are you treating us like 9-year-olds?
I was with old man Monsky. Remember him? Such a card, a real throwback. He must be 90 if he's a day. You remember David Gross's grandfather. Anyway, he speaks half English, half Yiddish, Yinglish, I guess they call it. It's so heartening.
Where have you been, Dad? Where's Mom?
I went to Minyan. That's where I saw Mr. Monsky.
Whose yard site?
You don't need a yard site to go to shul. Thanks for setting the table. Looks beautiful.
Mom went too?
No. I'll go heat things up. Smells delicious. Da Kinder are starving.
He exits to the kitchen.
Again with the kinder. Dad, where's Mom? She's always here waiting for us.
The soup is delicious. Must be a new recipe.
Something's not right.
Something's rotten.
Stop saying that.
Scott
Okay,
enters
kids.
carrying a couple of serving bowls, which he puts on the buffet next to the table.
Okay, kids. Let's say the blessings. The soup will be hot by then.
Dad!
I don't know where Mom is. It's, like a low-grade worry at this point, as your mom would say.
Yeah. Did she leave a note?
I didn't see one. She wasn't here when I got home. I waited a while. I even tried to call her. It went to voicemail. Anyway, then I left for shul and figured she'd be home by now.
So, Dad, why aren't you upset? What's going on?
I don't know. I think she was acting funny, and she wouldn't talk to me this morning. When she gets like this, I just let her be. So I came home. She wasn't here. The food was beautiful in the kitchen, so I went to shul.
All are silent. Scott pours the wine and picks up the Kiddush cup, starts singing the blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Dad, stop. We don't start without Mom.
Okay, moving to mid-grade worry here. This is more than just low grade. It's worrisome. Did you have a fight?
I wouldn't call it that exactly. Just lately, she's been strange, mumbling to herself. When I ask, she just looks at me, blank like. We don't fight, we don't even argue.
Okay, I'm calling the police. We have to find her.
Hey, calm down. It's probably just a midlife crisis. Mid-grade, midlife, whatever.
At 65? No, that happens at 40.
Mom's not 65.
Dad, how old is Mom?
65. Well, in a couple of months anyway. Stacy and Scott turning 65. Hard to believe we're Social Security age. Settle down. Let's eat. Esty, how are the twins?
I think we should call the police.
Relax. Esty, how are the boys? When do they come home?
Not until Hanukkah. Well, Christmas holidays. They're doing great. They'll make the dean's list again, both of them.
Smart. So smart, just like me.
Dad, this is crazy. I'm going to call the police.
Chill, Esty. We'll wait a while. She'll be here with some kind of dessert or something. An explanation. It'll all make sense.
Things have changed for her. You know, ever since you broke off your engagement to Trish.
What? You're blaming me because Trish and I broke up.
No, of course not. But she is your third fiancé.
She's a little concerned about, well, your commitment issues.
Mom understood. Don't start blaming me and Trish. We just decided it's too soon. We can still see each other. Besides, her kids don't like me.
I know. Mom told me.
Mom tells you everything. I have no privacy.
It's not a private issue. It's a broken engagement.
Mom accepted our breakup. So did Trish's family.
Scott pours a glass of wine and sips it before the blessing, then looks at the glass, puts it down, almost embarrassed.
But somehow, she grew sad after that. It's not your fault, Max, but I did notice she was excited, planning a rehearsal dinner.
It's called a welcome dinner now, Dad.
Okay, a welcome dinner then. And she and Trish got along so well, Mom had already grown attached to Trish's 2 kids. Then it all went away. The excitement, the planning, 2 new young grandchildren.
And she seemed to, I don't know, deflate after that.
And you think she's not worried about you? Low-level worried?
What about me? I'm fine. My kids are in college doing well. I love my job. My law practice keeps growing. It's a great time of life for me.
Right. And you weren't destroyed when your philandering husband sort of just moved out?
I'm over it. Max, that was 2 years ago. Besides, I feel lucky he didn't give me 16 diseases.
Please, you loved him so much. You told me you thought it was one of those forever loves. You're not so...
I'm over it, Max. And what are you doing? Opening up old wounds? Why?
That's enough, you two. We don't argue on Shabbat. It's Shabbos, and Mom left us a beautiful dinner. I think we should eat and clean up and just let the evening unfold. You'll see, your mother will be back before long. She's probably just gone to a movie or something.
A movie?
On Friday night?
Alone? Come on, Dad.
I say something changed with Max's last breakup. Maybe on top of what happened to my so-called marriage. God, what is it? I don't know. We both took that hard. We all did. Maybe she considers both of us sort of failures.
You're wrong. Mom never lived vicariously through us. She had her own life.
No, she didn't. We came along, and she was so young. She never had time for her own life.
What do you mean? This is her own life. This is our life. She loves us. She loves me. She loves her. We love her. This is a house of love.
And yet, something's rotten in the state of place. Something's definitely rotten.
Stop saying that. You know, she never had time to live her own dreams.
What kind of dreams? She never told me about any dreams.
Dreams, ambitions, things she thought she would do before marriage. She wanted to be a reporter. Did you know that? She wanted to go to war zones and send back reports. She wanted to fly an airplane. She wanted to be on TV, standing in front of rockets going off in the distance. She says she missed out on covering Vietnam and Cambodia. Can you believe it? She was in high school. She wanted to report from capitals all over the world. Be a TV reporter like Dan Rather and all the different...
What? What the hell? TV, fly planes, rockets, war zones. Dan Rather? That's ancient history.
But all of a sudden, she was married, and then we came along.
You did not just come along. What does that mean, come along? Kids don't happen. You didn't just happen. Stacy and I, we made you. We decided to get married. We had an engagement. I gave her a ring. We decided when to make you. And we were so blessed. We planned each of you. It doesn't work that way for everyone. We were so lucky. We have a great and happy family, a family of love.
I know, but you still had children, and you still decided, and I don't know.
Besides, your mom went back and got her degree in journalism when she was your age. She published all kinds of articles with her byline, Stacy Solomon. Magazines still call and give her assignments. She's a good writer, a consultant on some stories, writes others. I think she has all the career she wants.
You know, one time she told me that she wanted to take French.
French? For what, French?
I told her to go take some courses at U of H or Rice. They have classes, adult classes.
But French? Is she going to France? We can go to France anytime she wants. She never asked me to go to France. We went to France a long time ago, Paris, the Riviera. Anyway, she did take French in high school. She's always saying French words, trying to remember.
And another time I came over and she had brochures for Italy and Greece. I think Istanbul. Maybe it was Prague. I can't remember. Spain?
They don't speak French in any of those countries. Did she have a brochure for Paris or?
That is not the point.
So what is the point?
The soup. The soup is going to boil over.
Scott exits to the kitchen. Esty, struck by an idea, walks to the closet and opens it. Max sits down at the table, touches the challah, picks up matches, starts to light the candles, and stops. He turns toward Esty as she turns and points to the open closet. He extends his hand with the matches.
I thought so. It's missing. It's not here anymore.
What's missing? I mean, besides Mom.
Missing
Her new suitcase.
suitcase.
I came over one day last week and she just bought a purple suitcase. She was taking it out of a box, one of those sleek kinds made of hard plastic. She said, these are great because they resist bed bugs.
Bed bugs, more germophobia.
What's this nonsense? We have suitcases already. We went to Miami last December. We went to Israel with a rabbi. Paris, Istanbul. We can go anywhere. We have plenty of suitcases.
Something's rotten. I told you, something's rotten in the House of Solomon.
Stop saying that. Nothing's rotten. There's an explanation for this. A simple explanation.
Of course there is. Let's eat. The soup is hot. Mom would want us to eat the soup while it's hot. Esty, light the Shabbos candles. Max, get a knife for the challah.
Without Mom?
It's Shabbos. It's Shabbat.
We always light the candles together. I'm not eating without Mom.
Scott and Max shake their heads. Esty takes the matches, lights the candles, makes the signs with her hands, then bows her head and recites the blessing. Max and Scott say it with her very softly.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvovav, v'tzivanu l'halak ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Go ahead. You go ahead and eat without me.
Suddenly decisive, Esty grabs her purse and heads towards the front door.
I have an idea. I just thought of something.
Esty will find her. Are you coming back to help with the dishes?
Esty throws him a look, and the door closes. Max stands up and sings the blessing over the wine. He lifts his kiddush cup, and Scott does the same.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Borei Pari Hagafen. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai.
He begins to sing the rest of the blessing, but Max stops him.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Max tears off 2 pieces. They each taste the challah. They each take another sip of wine. Scott stands up, ladles out some soup. They sit in uncomfortable silence as they eat. Esty re-enters, and she stops cold when she sees them eating.
Okay, high-grade worry here. Dad, didn't you notice Mom's car in the garage?
I didn't park in the garage. I'm out front.
Her car is here?
Esty exits to the bedroom area. Max and Dad stand beside the table, silent. Esty re-enters, holding keys and a cell phone.
Dad, did you even check your bedroom? The bed? Her keys, her phone? That's why she didn't answer our texts. The phone was on her bed, turned off. Her car keys and house keys were there too. No note.
No note? What does that mean?
It means, basically, don't wait for me for dinner. It means, basically, you can eat without me.
And
that's what it means.
Okay, I think Mom's left us, Dad. What should we do? Oh, come on, guys. We're gonna go to the airport, hurry. We'll catch her, we'll find her.
Esty, are you kidding? The airport's huge. Where would we even begin to look?
We'll alert security. We'll have them announce on the loudspeaker she can't just leave without us.
No. Esty, Max, it's too late. Let it be. Let her be. This is not about you. I need to deal with this. And you'll see, Stacy will come home again. She'll be back when she's ready. This is a house of love. You'll see a house of love.
The family slowly returns to the table. As the lights dim, they sit in a tableau of family around the Shabbat table. Soft music, lights out.
I knew it. I just knew it from the moment I walked in. The house felt silent, still. Our house has always been a vibrant source of energy. Even when no one else is home, this house buzzes with colors smells, sounds. There's music playing over the TV or radio, Mom's CDs, which she's kept and still uses. Mom always humming in the kitchen or writing in her study. Typewriter clicks have become, over the years, the beeps of computers. Phones ringing off the wall before cell phones. Always something going on. Company, parties. Once, after I'd moved out, after college, I came here to find two of my old high school friends talking to Mom. She'd made coffee and sandwiches, and they were just sitting around the table, brainstorming. I don't remember about what. Maybe they didn't tell me. Maybe it was Mom mentoring them on something private.
She's been here for us, always, and for our friends, encouraging me to apply to law school, consoling me when I was rejected, celebrating when I got in the following year. My wedding to my law school sweetheart. Mom and I were walking on air. He was the right one, and we both were certain. She would cook all his favorite dinners. His mom wasn't much of a cook. She too was a lawyer, and they had full-time help who did the cooking. So he loved Mom's old country recipes, both Southern and Jewish. Mom and I had a blast planning the wedding, choosing the caterer, the florist, the band, then marriage and me working, pregnant, morning sickness. She was here for me through it all. The birth of the twins, Dad pacing the hall and Mom giving me the courage for a C-section. God, me terrified. Mom too, but she never showed it. Teaching me how to nurse my babies. Over the years, she'd pick up the twins at school when I'd be caught up in a trial.
I knew something was wrong. Her silences, not depression, more like preoccupation. I tried putting on our favorite music, asking her to dance. She never refused, but somehow eluded the moments. I'd coax, I'd pry. Are you writing that book, your memoir? No, not yet, she'd say. What then? But she didn't have an answer. Is it me, I'd ask. No, she'd say. She'd kiss my cheek or my forehead, or once even my hands, not with passion. Oh, Stacy and I had plenty of passion in our lives. Still do, still did. We've been in love, deeply in love. But lately, she seemed distracted, even over the high holidays, more distant. Like she was going through the motions, but her heart was somewhere else. And she left soon after that. But why? Was it me? Did I fail her? Fail to understand her? What am I missing? Is there another man?
Mom loved Trish. I never saw her bond so tightly with my other girlfriends. And it's true, Trish was more than a girlfriend. We were engaged. Her kids had become Mom's grandkids. They came to us a ready-made family. It was fun for all of us, for Esty too, a distraction from her loss, the disastrous end of her marriage a couple of years before the twins went to college. So in a way, I felt I helped bring the family back together. Me, the so-called confirmed bachelor. Me with Trish and her little kids. Who hated me. That was the hard part. They loved Mom and Dad and Esty, but they wouldn't talk to me. Wouldn't even look at me. I guess that's what started Trish's ambiguity. Should she move forward with both kids objecting? They were only kids after all. Or should she wait a bit, give them a chance to acclimate? But this is my problem, not Mom's. Besides, Trish and I are not over. We still talk. We still love each other. Esty says it's over and done. She thinks it's me, my commitment issues. But Trish and I, we're still good with each other. This is just a pause. Let's just call it a pause. Our lives are on pause. Mom needs to know that.
Recently, the horrors of my divorce, pain, depression, heartbreak, for all of us. Dad too, but he always thinks things will work out for the best. Not Mom. She looked at the situation with a practical eye. She also had to get over the sense of betrayal. He was her other son, and suddenly, she realized he would disappear from the family. Maybe she took it harder than I realized. But Mom, using her simple approach, weighed if it was time for mid or high grade worry, or just for a soothing bath with a glass of wine. She always knew the way. How can she be gone? Why? What was her breaking point? My issues, Max's?
I go to work, I come home, I go to work, I come home. I try to figure out what happened. What did I miss? She had a career, a balance, respect, busy with her various projects. Was it not enough? Am I no longer enough? Radical for her just to take off. I get so angry. Then just sad. But not hopeless. Because I know this woman. I know my Stacy. She loves me. She loves us. She loves our life. I go to work. I come home. I go to work. I come home. Lately on weekends, I go to Minions at the shul. On Fridays, every Friday, I make Shabbos and the kids come over.
Something's rotten. I knew it. I just knew it. Something's rotten in the house of Solomon.
Dad is so cute with his Shabbos dinners. I could have them here, but we always have them at home. Home. Where is my home? Is home a location or something less concrete? Once my boys left for college, I sold our family home. I bought a townhouse facing Memorial Park, 3 stories with an elevator. Good for when Mom and Dad will need it someday. The elevator. And the place is gorgeous. Of course, I'm good at that, decorating, nesting. I had to get out of our house. The house full of memories. The house full of joyful years and years of being a family with him and the twins. That house is over. And I never looked forward to an empty nest. Maybe I didn't want to face that. Instead, I thought that when the boys went off to college, hopefully the same college, which they did, I looked forward to football homecomings, meeting their fraternity brothers. The next phase I thought we'd face as a couple. Well, I'm facing all the changes alone.
When Esty's marriage fell apart, was I there for her? She's been here for me with Trish and me on a break and other long ago breakups, but was I there for her? Mom told me a couple of times, go over to your sister's, take her out to dinner. So I asked Esty over and over, but she said she wasn't ready yet. To go to dinner? I'd say, big deal, come on. I tried to encourage her.
Working part-time from home since COVID, I needed a change. I needed to make a place I could call mine. Evenings now, I go up to the 3rd floor balcony and look out over the trees. My tree house, I call it. I can hear the freeway traffic up there, but I can't see it. Just trees and other townhomes, I feel safe here. And I could easily host Shabbat dinner. Brisket, matzo ball soup, challah. I make my own challah. But we meet at home, at our childhood home, because here is where I live now, and it's beautiful and peaceful, with plenty of room for the twins when they're here. But home is Mom and Dad's.
I did try to approach Esty, get her to open up to me when he first left. She just closed down to all of us. Maybe Mom knew, but she kept Esty's reaction to herself, just urging me to go over and take her out or something. Then one day, we were alone after Shabbos dinner, and we had some privacy, and she said,
Maybe I just become too drab, a female lawyer stereotype. Maybe that's why he left me. I had no pizzazz, dowdy.
Dowdy? You've never been dowdy a day in your life. Anyway, that's not why he rejected you. That's not why men cheat.
Why then?
It's about them. Their needs and insecurities sent them out on the hunt, and they're willing to hurt others to reestablish their self-identities.
I wonder if, with my focus on my career, I somehow made him feel less relevant.
You know what, Esty? I think he was irrelevant. In his own eyes, now he's just pretending. But he's not your problem anymore unless you choose to make him your problem.
I'm terrified I'll run into him. Or worse, them. You know, there are places I don't go anymore just in case
When you stop being afraid of them, you'll start moving toward them. You'll know what to say.
You think?
I think. Love you, sis.
Love you too, bro.
I quit trying to get Esty to go out with me. She still needed space to heal. Then, out of the blue, one Saturday afternoon, she called and said,
Let's go to that new restaurant, Bari in River Oaks.
She got on Open Table and made a reservation for 8:30. I drove over and picked her up. She was dressed to the nines, and she looked gorgeous. I wore my new suede jacket. We had some drinks, some wine, beet and goat cheese salad, and steak. We fought over the check, giggling and a little tipsy. We ended up splitting it. The next day, I was sad, sort of down. I wondered if Esty was too, but I didn't call her. I let the sadness mellow out and respected the ups and downs that are part of healing. Like we both knew how to mellow out sadness. Mellow out sadness.
So a few weeks ago, I made Shabbos dinner and took it over. When I got there, Dad was intensely bent over a recipe for squash souffle from Mom's cookbook. He beat the egg whites and measured the cheese, so focused. And all the while, he was humming, softly at first, but then I heard the words, Dayenu. 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 On Shabbat. He was singing the Passover song on Shabbat. I don't think he knew it. I didn't say a word.
Oh, that was a great evening. I walked in with Trish and surprised Dad and Esty. Trish's girls were spending the weekend at their grandparents' beach house in Galveston. So it was just adults. We set up one of those 1,000-piece puzzles Mom keeps in the game closet with old Scrabble and Monopoly sets, and we laid it all out, talking and laughing about nothing, putting those pieces together. We felt like a family again. Dad seemed so happy, and yet, once I looked over at him and saw sadness. A family again, but with a missing piece.
Mom, I want to tell her. Mom, we miss you. Where are you? We're doing well, but it's not the same. What did we do wrong? What did I miss? When you showed me your purple suitcase, I noticed you didn't buy one for Dad. I mean, I noticed, but I could have asked you, what's the new suitcase for? Maybe I thought you were planning a girls' getaway with friends or taking a spa weekend, like the one you sent me to after my marriage fell apart. Those were my difficult times, and you were there for me every step of the way. You encouraged me to take a week off from the practice. You insisted that I go to that Austin spa for a week, and you made sure the boys were okay. You got them off to school, sports, band practices, parties, fed them. And you were right. I came back renewed, refreshed, not over it, but less torn, fewer ragged edges. You know what, Mom? You knew what I needed to figure out who I am as me, and I have, I think. Mostly, that is. That spa week was the beginning of, hello, Esty. How are you? Not so good, but not so bad either, and I'll be fine once I commit murder. Oh, once I murder him and that way too young new law partner, cliche, cliche, cliche. That word alone soothed my soul. And Mom, you knew what I needed without even asking. So why didn't I know for you?
Waiting for Godot, Stacy's favorite play. Those lines at the end of each act. Well, shall we go? Yes, let's go. They don't move. Why did she love those lines in a play full of absurdity? Let's go. They don't move. At the end of the play where nothing happens, shall we go? But no one moves.
Esty and I argue about Hamlet, me quoting from a tragedy. This is no house of tragedy. This is a house of love. And yet, we find ourselves baffled, like in Mom's Godot, a play full of absurd nonsense that is famous all over the world in multiple languages, and in the end, nothing moves, nothing changes, and Godot never shows up. The whole play surrounds an invisible presence.
What can we know about anything? How can we live without knowing? What must I do to know how to know you better, Stacy? But I do know you. I do.
According to Mom, critics contend that Godot stands for God. But God isn't absurd. God shows up, right? I believe in God, but waiting for God? Sometimes I think God is waiting for me, waiting for us, waiting for the human race to see the elusive, to recognize an elusive truth.
Why do we pray? Why do I go to Minions? That night Stacy disappeared, I went to a Minion. I hadn't been in ages. I came home and she wasn't there. Something seemed rotten. Not rotten, just wrong. Something made me want to go to shul. Now I go every night, just not on Shabbat. Shabbat is for us, my family, and I wait for them. I cook for them. They cook for me. They cook with me. And we wait. We wait and we hope. We are waiting for Stacy.
Where do you think she is, Dad? Will we ever see her again?
Of course we'll see her again. Mom will be back. You'll see. She'll come home.
Why do you say that?
Because I know my wife. I know my Stacy. Have I questioned myself since she left? Of course I have. I've had terrible moments of self-doubt. But in the end, I know.
I want to tell her, Trish is back with me now. Her girls will adjust. She wants us to go to family therapy, and that's fine with me. All 4 of us. I can't wait to tell her, Mom, you'll have those grandchildren again. They were here last week looking for you. The younger one asked me about you. The older one just glared, as if I'd melted you into the chocolate pudding Trish made special for her for dessert, which she wouldn't touch. Oh, Mom.
I go to work, I come home, I go to work, I come. I promise I'll do better, Stacy. Just tell me what I was doing wrong. Anything you need, I'm here for you, for us. It's always been us since the first day we met. We're us. I thought we both knew that. We are us. I can't go on. I go on. We all do.
For most Shabbos dinners, Dad cooks our meals. Sometimes Esty texts to let me know she's bringing a dish. Something vegetarian with pasta or rice. She did most of the cooking for Passover. Potato kugel, some kind of Passover brownies she made from scratch. She's learned from you, Mom. Now and then, we want to give Dad a night off. But we also realize how much Dad needs to do this.
Passover. How did we get through Pesach without her? Kids handled the whole thing. Max even led the Seder because, well, I just didn't have it in me. All of a sudden, my needs come first with both Max and Esty. Max often brings a fancy dessert for some new bakery he's discovered. For Purim, he bought Trisha's girls Hamantaschen. They'd never seen them before, and they loved trying to say the word, Hamantaschen. Oh, and Stacy, you won't believe this, Max has taken up bread baking with yeast, not challah, usually some variation on baguettes. Once he made wonderful, huge biscuits with whipped butter and honey from some farm store on I-45, peach honey. We bless his breads with the hamotzi, just like we do the challah.
And then it happened. The thing I dreaded most. I saw them. In these years of healing, I hadn't run into them. I made sure. When the twins spend time at his condo, they never mention her, so I don't know if they live together. I don't even know if this is the same young her or a different young her. But then at the Galleria one Saturday, as I walked along, lost in my thoughts, suddenly there were the two of them coming out of Saks, hand in hand, carrying a couple of large bags. They didn't see me, but I ducked into a store, grabbed something off a rack, and hid in a dressing room. Oh, God, I wear a size 6. I had grabbed a size 12, but I put it on and stood there looking at myself in the mirror and, feeling like a fool. You're hiding from them? They should be hiding from you. But I felt so humiliated and so angry. Even after all this time, how could I let myself feel so small? I should have walked up and kissed them each on the cheek like it didn't matter one bit. Like Max had predicted, I'd walk toward them, but no. I put my clothes back on and I went to my car, forgetting my purpose for going to the mall in the first place. I grabbed my phone and I started to call you, Mom. I just needed to talk about it, talk it through. Oh, I nearly threw my phone out the window. I was so frustrated. I could have called my best friend, but I didn't want my friend. I wanted you. Oh, Mama, where have you gone?
Mother, Stacy Solomon, played by Leah Gross, enters at the top level, stage left. She steps forward closer to the audience. The light now shines only on her. She addresses the audience directly. In her hand is a cell phone.
You want to know what happened to me. You want me to tell you why I left. You are waiting for me to give you the answers to my life, to explain myself to you. But I'm not going to do that. Not because I don't want to, but because I cannot explain myself to you any more than you can explain yourself to me. What kind of woman is this? What kind of a wife and mother leaves her family without a word, without a goodbye? People who have never hurt her, people who do not deserve to be hurt. What kind of woman is this? Sometimes our lives feel empty, even when they are full. Sometimes we're overwhelmed. Other times we're hopeful, and then again hopeless. We hold it all in. When things feel impossible or meaningless, we show a brave face for the sake of those we love. And oh, how we love. At times I'll burst with the love I feel for my family. Scott calls our home a house of love. Did you think he was clueless? He's not. Ours was, is, a house of love. What's wrong with you, Stacy? You have so much. Millions of people would trade places with you. Are you shallow? Self-pitying? Do you not count your blessings? 2 successful children, 2 loving grandsons. My kids have relationship problems. All relationships have problems. My kids are blessed, smart, successful, attractive. What's wrong with you, Stacy? And where have you been? Paris. First, I went to Paris. I'd arranged for room and board in the home of a Jewish woman in Le Marais arrondissement, near the Rue de Rosiers. My plane landed early in the morning. I threw my suitcase in the closet and I slept for 24 hours straight. I don't think I ate the whole next day. Just coffee, café au lait. I sat in that room and I called all my local contacts until I got some interviews and soon landed a job editing for 20 minutes, 20 minutes, a small free newspaper. It paid little, but okay. I was excited to have work in front of me. I needed time to adjust, to become a single woman again, to be free. Truth? I was miserable. Nothing felt right. Besides, I'm not a single woman. In Paris, you walk around, a woman alone, you eat in nice restaurants, you get hassled by men. It's Paris after all. If you so much as smile politely, men think it's a come on. Ce n'est pas ce que je veux I don't want this, I told a guy who sat down at my table, uninvited. I jumped up and I left the cafe, leaving him to pay for my glass of wine. But for the most part, Paris was too easy. What was I looking for? Self-identification, self-reevaluation, self-insight, self. Soon I realized that to find me, I had to disappear. I had to leave my comfort zone, become anonymous to discover what? I still didn't know. I packed up and moved to Prague. Yes, Prague. There, I knew nothing. Not the language, not the history, very little about the culture other than Kafka. I had no contacts, and it was perfect. Again, I found my way, went to work for the Prague Monitor, an online daily for English speakers. I spend most of my time in my room, editing copy for internet readers. It's stress-free and leaves me plenty of time to think. I have found my way around the neighborhood and I'm invisible. Being unseen helps one see. I think a lot. Keep a diary. Music is everywhere, and I dip into concerts. Drink tea on the square. It's almost a year since I left home. My family has settled itself without me, but I have not settled myself without them. I follow them on social media. I see them without them seeing me. Max posted some recent pictures of Trish, who has highlights in her auburn hair that weren't there before. I guess they're back together. Her little girls have grown a bit, some subtle changes. They don't like Max, and that could be a problem. But Max needs to learn the girls will have their own lives someday. Sure, he has a responsibility to them, but must he sacrifice his love and his future? Now that's always the question, but it's his question, not mine. And I like to think that he's found his answer. Esty only posts on Facebook when she's with the twins, like when they come home during college breaks, some family moments around the Shabbos table. Another group of photos came when she went to their homecoming game. Are those boys dating anybody yet? I wouldn't know. They don't post. Esty is wan. Is that the word? Faded? Pallid? I miss her vibrancy, her love of life, her enthusiasm. It will return. She'll find her way. I think she must have sold her house and moved. She posted a few pictures of what she called her trees, her solitude. I'm guessing she moved to a high-rise. She calls it her tree house. If I know Esty, it's beautifully decorated wherever it is. Still, Esty's face lacks color. She's almost delicate, and Esty has never been delicate. It's almost a year since I left. Who are these people without me? Who am I without them? And Scott. What about Scott? Has he moved on? He certainly has a right to. He must have been angry, though he's not the type for anger. Confused. But by now, has he moved on? Oh, I'll bet the single ladies we know hope so. He's a fun person, intelligent, still good looking. Though in one picture Max posted of the two of them, Scott has aged a bit, just a little, but he still looks good. Scott, the ladies, the divorcees and the widows, have they been bringing you casseroles? Calling to invite you over? Last week, I took a cab to Terezin concentration camp near Prague, where I joined a group tour. We learned about the ways the Nazis used this site as a foil to show how well the Jews were treated. These prisoners were fed so they would look as if they were living and working in a ghetto. But they were murdered in the end. The athletics and the artwork, all a scam to fool the world. The crematorium was the hardest part to see. Not as large as the one at Auschwitz, but just as horrifying. When the tour ended, I suggested that we say Kaddish. There were 12 of us. One couple who had driven in from Prague offered me a ride back to the city. As I sat in the back of their car, I noticed they were holding hands. I had been crying a lot, but suddenly I was shaken to realize that Scott should have been there with me. This was an experience to be shared with my life partner, my love. The two of us should have experienced this together. When we arrived at their hotel, they asked me to join them for dinner. We spoke about Terezin and books and movies and the times we're living through now as Jews. They never asked about you, Scott. They never pried into my family life. I was grateful. There was no way I could have explained to them or to anyone why I was living in Prague, alone. Scott, do you miss me? Do you miss us? It's almost a year. Soon it will be time for the High Holy Days. I've always been there for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, not just to prepare our meals, but to come together as a family, to think of how we have lived and how we want to live. How will I celebrate the holidays separate from my family? Would they even want me back? Do they feel so betrayed by me they'd not welcome my presence? What have I done? It's Friday night, Shabbat, Shabbos. It's 4 o'clock in Houston. The kids will be coming over soon. I wonder if Trish and her daughters will come with Max. I wonder if Esty will bring a friend or if the twins are in town this weekend. I wonder, did Scott make soup? Not lentil. He doesn't even have my lentil recipe. He's probably got my chicken soup down by now.
Odd number, probably just spam, but hello?
Scott?
Stacy?
Good Shabbos, Scott.
One more time, another round of applause for Miriam, Sissy, our cast. These events don't just happen. They happen with a lot of work and a lot of love, and it was really inspiring and a beautiful job, everybody. I want to thank the sound crew as well. I want to thank our maintenance team who has set everything up and got everything ready. Ellie Feinberg, who helped us with the programs, and Hannah Schiff behind the scenes, and Marcia Gilbert especially, and the entire kitchen team too. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. On behalf of our clergy and our president, Susan Feigen-Harris, I also want to thank them and all of you for being with us this evening. We're going to continue with a beautiful reception in the crossover space, where again there's questions surrounding our space to ask, to talk with our cast, to think about the issues that were raised in the play.